So a bunch of Kevin Durant jerseys got burnt, I assume, by OKC fans. Russell Westbrook, on the other hand, he's decided to re-sign for 3 years, and he's become Twitter's favorite person. Me included, I'm happy to see Russell Westbrook back in OKC. And so now we can talk about the Thunder's situation a little bit and how they're going to be moving forward for this season and I guess the future as well. First things first, they're a pretty damn good team. I mean, Kevin Durant's not there anymore, so I don't think they're a title contender, but if we look at the roster, I mean, Russell Westbrook is, of course, a top 5 player. There's a legitimate chance he's going to average a triple-double this season. That's not a joke. He really might get his Oscar Robertson on. Victor Oladipo is an effective two-way shooting guard who's very athletic and very good defensively, who also averages about 4 assists per game, so he can relieve Westbrook of some ball handling duties if Westbrook would be up for that, which I don't know if he would be. There's also Andre Roberson, who's probably your starting small forward because the only other options there are like Anthony Morrow, and he's a good shooter but he can't play defense, and Kyle Singler is one of the worst players in the NBA, so your option at the 3 is pretty much Andre Roberson. Those 3 together, Westbrook, Oladipo, and Roberson, that might be the most athletic 3 players in the NBA in one lineup next season. Because Westbrook, I mean, the way he flies up and down the floor is just something we haven't seen in the NBA too much. Oladipo is very athletic himself, and so is Roberson. I mean, those 3 are going to be jetting up and down the floor all the time. And Oladipo and Roberson together are going to be a nightmare defensively for a lot of wings in the NBA. So I think if Roberson can at least be respectable from 3, which, I mean, he was actually making a couple threes against the Warriors in that playoff series, I think those 3 together will be fantastic. For your power forward spot, Ersan Ilyasova might be the starting 4. He can shoot threes, which is cool. He's not the best defensive player in the world, and he's not super athletic, but the only other option is Enes Kanter. And while I feel like the Steven Adams-Enes Kanter lineup will work against slower teams, a lot of teams in the NBA are going to go small if you put Kanter in the game at the 4, and he's going to have a really tough time defensively. I think Ilyasova, he's able to defend the perimeter a bit more than Kanter can. But yeah, I think Ilyasova is probably your starting 4. And then Steven Adams is fantastic. I mean, one of the best defensive players in the league, especially when it comes to centers. Super tough. And I think what we saw him do against Golden State, just being really big and tough for them to deal with inside, you're going to see more of that this season. Now, the second unit for OKC, it's a little interesting. I think Cameron Payne will hopefully get some more minutes this season. He really didn't play much at all last year. I mean, what was he, a rookie trying to get minutes on a team that went to the Western Conference Finals? It's tough to get minutes in that situation. Now I think he can play a bit more. Seems to be a decent enough backup point guard. Anthony Morrow can provide you some shooting off the bench, and I think Enes Kanter can be a nice post scorer off the bench for them as well, and like I mentioned, at times being a spot starter. Where do I think OKC is going to finish this year? Honestly, I could see him getting around 50 wins. I think when you have a top 5 player in Westbrook and a pretty decent roster around him, and Billy Donovan, who got better as a head coach in the playoffs, I think they're going to be competing with the Clippers for the 3 seed. I think OKC is going to be really good. Do I think they're a real title contender? No, I don't think they can beat San Antonio or Golden State in a 7-game series, but they very well could be the 3rd best team in the Western Conference still. Now, if we're talking about the future of the team, Sabonis could be their power forward long term, and Sam Presti drafts really well, so I have high hopes for Sabonis, but the guy's only a rookie. I don't know how much you can expect for him in his first season in the league. And also, if we look even more towards the future for them, they're going to have a lot of salary cap room because Oladipo still has at least the season after this one where he'll be on his rookie contract. And then with the salary cap jumping, they are going to be in decent positions to acquire some nice free agents, hopefully to fill up that small forward position and the power forward spot if Sabonis does not become the guy for you at that position. But I think having Russell Westbrook completely focused on being a member of the Thunder and wanting to be a winner for this team is going to say to free agents, I can join a good team with a top 5 player who was very close to beating Golden State. And now I understand Westbrook's contract does have some options in it or whatever, but it seems like he's willing to be there. So a lot of good things for OKC. And